This video is about the most important thing you need to know about as a first-time Carnival cruiser. This, your Sail and Sign card. Here are 11 things you need to know about Carnival's Sail and Sign card. Item 10 is something that most first-time cruisers are surprised to find out about. My name is Ruben. I love cruising on Carnival while sharing my tips and adventures with all of you. I have more than 200 days sailing on Carnival, and I have earned the highest status of Diamond. I can tell you that this one little piece of plastic is the most important thing to have on your cruise. It is your cabin key, your wallet, and so much more for the entire duration of your trip. I'm going to tell you all the secrets and things that you need to know before your first cruise. And trust me, there are some very common and very frustrating headaches that a lot of first-time cruisers do not know about. But that won't be you because you're watching this video. Number 1, when do you get it? If you're like me, your first question is, Adam, when do I get my Sail and Sign card? Well, first of all, my name's not Adam. Second, you don't actually get your card when you first board the ship. Your card will be waiting for you in a sealed envelope at your cabin. Tip number, wait, but Adam, where's my cabin?
Bruh.
Okay, remember, my name's not Adam. But great question, because that was my question as well. Your cabin number is actually printed on your boarding pass. And yes, as of June 2026, most, if not all Carnival terminals require you to have your printed boarding pass. Now check out this video if you want my detailed video of everything you need to know about the Los Angeles or Long Beach Carnival Cruise Terminal. There are actually a lot of things that you will need your printed boarding pass for. So stick with me before I get to the fun part. Now before you even get on the ship, you will need to show your printed boarding pass at least 4 times. So keep it out and in your hands. Oh, and don't be fooled. Once you get on the gangway, you actually still will need your boarding pass at least 1 more time. Once you get on the ship, the first thing you want to use your boarding pass for is to find out where your muster station is. It will tell you right here where your muster station is, so you can go check in. Now stay tuned for number 7 with the most fun thing you can actually use your boarding pass for. But back to this little envelope. Depending on when you first board your ship, you might not actually have or be able to get to your cabin right away. Cabin staterooms are not available until around 1:30 on embarkation day. So until you hear that announcement letting you know that your cabins are ready, go and explore and get to know your ship first.
Wow.
Now here is a playlist of all of the ship tours that I've done to help you get ready. While you are wandering around exploring the ship, now if you want to buy a drink or purchase something, whip out your boarding pass and the crew can scan it to make that purchase, assuming that you have set up with a credit card or if you have loaded cash onto your account. More on that later. Number 2, your everything card. This card is your everything card, and I am not exaggerating when I say that this card does it all. Most importantly, it is the key that gets you into your cabin. But it is so much more than a normal hotel key. It is also your shipboard ID that you need every time you get on or off the ship. Security will scan it and check it against your photo. Beyond that, it is also your onboard wallet. Carnival ships are almost entirely cashless. Whether you want a drink at the bar, specialty dining at the steakhouse, a souvenir from the fun shops, or even a photos from the Pixels photo gallery, this card is how you pay for it all. You can even use this card in the casino. You will insert your Sail and Sign card into the slot machines to track casino points and offers, but you can still put cash directly into the machines if you want. When you first get your card, you will notice its color. As a first-time Carnival cruiser, you will get a blue card. This signifies your first time sailing on Carnival. So don't be surprised when people ask, how is your first cruise going, when they see your blue card. For your second cruise, you will get a red card. And after that, based on your Carnival reward status, which starts in September, you can earn a gold, platinum, or even a diamond card. Now, if you have not heard yet, Carnival is changing from their VIFP club to Carnival Rewards. Now, let me know if you want me to make a video all about this new program and everything else that you need to know about. One fun fact is that if you are on a special charter cruise, like this amazing concert cruise event like Cali Country or Old School Cruise, you will get a special Sail Sign card that no one else gets. Check this out. Number 3, set up from home. Let's rewind a little bit to leave the ship and tell you what you need to know before you even board your ship. And that is to set up your onboard purchases account when you check in online. Wait, you need to check in online? Yes. And this is a very important step, and I made a video walking you through everything here. One of the online check-in steps involves setting up your onboard account for purchases. You need to do this as part of your check-in process, but there are some things you can do that will make life so much easier and less stressful. Now, don't worry, I'm going to dive much more into all of these details, including how to set up for multiple people in a cabin and talk about the great debate: credit card, debit card, cash, or gift card. Now, before I continue, I do want to give a huge shout out to Michelle for helping me with the research for this video. She is also my very first Facebook subscriber and the lead admin for my Reuben's Random Sandwiches Facebook group. If you haven't joined that, check it out here. Number 4, the great payment debate: credit card, debit, cash, or a gift card. These are the 4 ways to set up onboard payments. So let's have a little financial face-off. I'll start with my recommended option, which is using a credit card. It's the most seamless, hassle-free option. Your purchases are charged as you go, and you get one consolidated bill at the end. Plus, if you have a Carnival credit card, you can double dip and earn points for all of the money you spend on your trip. Now, once September 2026 hits, this will also count towards your reward status. The one option I highly recommend never to use is a debit card. Now, this isn't just cruise specific, and the reasons for that is that basically a debit card gives you the cons of both a credit card and cash combined. For both credit and debit cards, Carnival will put some brief holds on your card, usually around $100 to $350. If you use credit cards routinely, this is something that happens very often with many merchants and is something that most of you will not notice. However, I have heard of some holds being quite high. Now, these holds are usually released within a few days and do reduce your overall credit limit or the funds that you have available with a debit card. Note that Carnival cannot expedite or release the holds placed on your cards, so don't ask guest services about that. Now, because credit card limits are usually much higher than what you have in your checking account balance, that is one reason not to use a debit card. But the main reason not to use a debit card in general is because of the lack of protection for fraud or stolen card usage. Credit cards offer protection against this and debit cards don't. But I am not a financial advisor or expert, so do your own research on this. It is not financial advice. Now, some reasons not to use a credit card are if you don't have one, or if you have very low limits and might get declined because of the various holds. Now, that brings us to the next 2 options. This is where you load funds onto your Sail Sign card. The 2 ways to do this are with actual cash or a gift card. Gift cards can be great because you can pre-purchase them ahead of time, often at a decent discount, to get the most bang for the buck. For both options, the easiest way to load funds to your account is with one of these onboard kiosks or at guest services. Some Carnival port terminals will also let you load cash onto your account before you even get on the ship. Just know that the lines to guest services can get pretty long on this first day. Many people love the cash option because it can be a great way to budget so you only spend what you have budgeted and what's in your card. The downside is that you have to keep loading funds onto your account if you run out. This is also the reason I recommend and prefer using a credit card, because of its convenience. Now, if you are curious what happens if you have leftover money on your account, stay to the end and I'll tell you. But wait, the ultimate combo? Both! That's right. You can set up a credit card and cash with either cash or a gift card. So you can still pre-purchase gift cards at that discount that you can load onto your Sail Sign card and also have a credit card linked as a backup. If you have both, any purchases will draw from the cash account first before pulling from your credit card. This also applies to any onboard credit you might have on your account. Now, one question I hear a lot is, how much money should I bring? I think an easier answer or an easier question to ask is, how much money should you pay for a home, a car, or an outfit? There are so many factors to consider. I think the best thing to do is to figure out your specific budget and how much money you are able to comfortably spend and stick to that. This will be different depending on who you are and really how much money you make. Because there is so much more available that is already included in your cruise fare, you can definitely spend zero extra money. I also know people who go crazy and spend 5 or 6 figures each cruise. Now, I'm actually really curious to hear from all of you. What do you use for your payment type when you are on cruise ships? And how much do you spend each cruise? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5, your own card. This is a big one, especially for families. Every single person on board gets their own personal Sail Sign card. This includes minors. Remember that the primary purpose for the Sail Sign card is your cabin key. That's how you get into your cabin. If you are sailing with a large group spread across multiple cabins, it will be important to know who is assigned to which cabin, because that is the cabin your Sail Sign card will unlock. Check out number 6 for a great tip on more about this. The other important thing about separate cards is assigning a purchase account to each of them. When you check in online, you can either link multiple people to the same credit card or debit card, or separate them so each person has their own purchase account. Now, if you are a parent, you might freak out a little bit about your little ones going on a spending spree with their cards. Don't worry. You are in complete control of what your kids spend and how. As a primary account holder, you can decide who gets charging privileges. The first way you do this is during online check-in. For each guest who is sailing, you are going to set up their spending and payment account. If you do not want them to be able to spend anything, just select the cash account option and do not load anything onto their account. You can also link them up to your credit card and select preset spending limits. This is especially great if you want to give your pre-adult some financial freedom, independence, and practice budgeting. Now, if you are sailing with friends or family that are adults, one other thing you can do is link and combine spending accounts. So when some of my friends sailed with me for their first time, I linked all of their accounts to my Carnival credit card and kept track of what each of them spent. Then after the cruise, they paid me back in cash. It was easier for them and it let me build up some credit card points. Number 6, cabin access. One other thing that comes with families or groups is cabin access. Remember that your Sail Sign card gives you access to the cabin that you have purchased. That is the only cabin you will have access to. However, many times with groups or families, you might want one person, family member, or friend to have access to other cabins. What I think the easiest way to do this is to go to guest services and ask for extra cards that just give access to cabins. That's what this card is. Then you can give that card to someone else and they will have access to the cabin. Just remember that these access cards will not be able to make purchases and cannot be used to get on and off the ship. Now, the reason I prefer using these cards versus switching cabins is that certain things like restaurants, dining, and other special offers are tied to the cabin itself. So if you switch cabins, you might unknowingly remove an offer or lose your drink package. One other thing to note is that Carnival has new specific rules starting February 2026 about people 20 years and younger. There are also different rules regarding minors and which cabins they are allowed to stay in, and how close they need to be to an adult. Number 7, cash is no longer king. It might feel strange, but cash is no longer king. For just about everything that you want to purchase on board, you use your Sail Sign card. Want to get a drink at the bar? You need your Sail Sign card. Getting seafood at Seafood Shack? Also need your Sail Sign card. Buying something at the gift shop? Sail Sign card. Now, if cash is no longer king, it might come in as close second as the queen. And that is because you might still want to keep some cash with you for tipping. Now, there is a ton to know all about tipping, especially the automatic gratuities. So let me know if you want me to make a video all about this. Number 8, keeping your card. Because this card is your everything on the ship card, you want to keep it with you everywhere you go. Remember that you need this card to get off and on the ship at ports. You also need it to get into your cabin. So forgetting or losing your card can be a major inconvenience and hassle. If your cabin door closes on you, but you know your card is right inside, you might be able to ask your cabin steward to open your cabin for you, especially if they already know who you are and can verify who you are. Otherwise, you might need to talk to guest services and security. Now, if you've lost your card, head straight to guest services immediately so they can deactivate the lost card and issue you a new one. Once you get on the ship, you will see that many cruisers use a lanyard to keep their card. And if you're curious, all cards come pre-punched with a hole to easily attach to your lanyard. I also prefer these lanyards with a removable clip that make it easy to give your card to a crew member. Now, some people prefer wrist lanyards. One new thing that I've been doing is using these MagSafe wallets that stick to my phone and I can keep my Sail Sign card, ID, credit card, and other stuff on me at all times. Oh, and speaking of keeping your card, you will need to have your card with you to leave the ship on the last day. So don't make the mistake and pack it away in your checked luggage. Also, you will get to keep your card when you go home. These make for great keepsakes to track all of your cruise memories. Here are all of mine. Exception: dining. Now that you have had it drilled into your head how important it is to have your Sail Sign card with you everywhere, let's throw an exception to you. The other piece of information that you will need is your cabin number. If you are booking specialty dining while on this ship at places like Fahrenheit 555, Cucina del Capitano, Gigi's, and more, you will need your cabin number. The same thing if you need to make a change to which dining room you are assigned to. Oh, and fun fact, printed on your Sail Sign cards are the dining room assignment. If you have set time dining, it will tell you what time and which table you are seated at. Number 9, tracking your onboard spend. One of the reasons all cruise lines go cashless is because it is so easy to spend so much when all it takes is the swipe of a card to buy something. So, to keep track of what you are spending, the easiest way is to use the HUB app. Click on your photo in the top right-hand corner and then click Account Summary. You could see everything that you have spent your money on. And if you click in, you can even see what you have ordered at each restaurant. If you are more old school, you can also use these kiosks to check your onboard spend, talk to guest services, and you can see how much you have left on your account if you have a cash account. P.S. Whichever payment method you choose, you definitely want to check your account regularly because sometimes you might get a surprise charge that shouldn't be there. It is way easier to go to guest services while you are on the ship to deal with that charge on board than trying to do this after you leave the ship. Number 10, last minute charges. On the final night, you will also get a printed copy of all of your charges. One of these will be a surprise last minute charge that surprises almost every first-time Carnival cruiser. More on that later. But if you see any surprise charges that you did not make, you definitely want to go on the night before and not the morning of debarkation. Because just getting to guest services can be a whole ordeal on that last day, and the lines are tremendously long. One reason for this is because of what happens on the last night. And this is when automatic gratuities are charged to your account. These are the gratuities that go to your cabin steward, dining room waitstaff, and other back of house team that do everything behind the scenes for us. If you have a credit or debit card, these will be charged to your card. If you have a cash account, this will be pulled from the available funds that you have. Now, this is what trips up many first-time Carnival cruisers. Because if you have a cash account and you do not have enough money in your account will be flagged, and you will need to pay the difference or the amount before leaving the ship. But do not think that this is your free ticket to extend your cruise. You will get unceremoniously kicked off the ship and put on a do not sail list until you pay up. Number 11, money back. Now let's look on the bright side and talk about what happens if you have money left over on your account after you leave. Of course, ideally you are checking your account and you know exactly how much money you have on your account and you know how much you have left to spend if you have a cash account or if you have money left in your casino account. But either way, on the last night, what you want to do is go to one of the kiosks and withdraw any remaining cash. However, if you forget to do this, don't worry, because here is what happens. If you have a cash balance over $10, Carnival will mail you a check. Now, this can take anywhere from a few weeks to maybe longer. Now, if the leftovers are originally from a gift card, the amount will be returned to your gift card. If you have less than $10, that amount is automatically donated to St. Jude Children's Hospital. So either way, it's a win. Now that you are ready to leave your Carnival cruise ship, you want to check out this video all about debarkation for your first time on a Carnival cruise ship.